Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Drey Bae podcast, featuring the one and only Drey Mike, aka Drizzy Drey Mike, aka Drew Boo, aka Slim Drey, aka Mr. Steal Your Girl Not Really, aka Drew Michael, and his lovely girlfriend, Julia Costin, aka Miss Pendant, aka Shouty got them good eyes. Alrighty, thank you all for tuning in. If you're still with us after that 30-second intro, I appreciate that as well. Alright, Julia, I think you have a fun story for us. You can't be afraid of the camera when there's no camera. It's just a microphone, just talking to the microphone.
I'm not afraid of a camera. I just don't have any good stories right now.
For those of you wondering, Julia has a teeny tiny microphone with an aux plug-in that we are having a little bit of fun using today. So
You know, it would be really funny if this actually wasn't picking up our voices.
that would be quite upsetting, but for all of our sakes, I hope it is. So tell us about this nice, cute little necklace you're wearing.
Oh, so I'm wearing a silver cross necklace that has a treble clef wrapped around it. It was a Christmas gift, actually, this year, from a pretty cool guy whom I may or may not be dating. No one knows for sure, but yeah, it's one of the greatest gifts I think I've ever gotten, probably.
I think you just lied to the audience because you said nobody knows. I do know, and that was all factual, and she is dating the guy. Yeah, she's dating Drew Boo, yours truly. So you're welcome for the gift. Thank you. All right.
I also got a second gift just today, actually. It's about it's a week and a half after Christmas. However, I just got a gift today from Target. It is a Mickey Mouse sweatshirt that is very soft and very comfortable. I'm very excited to wear it.
Well, I believe in such a thing as the song says, the 12 days of Christmas. I believe Hanukkah is still going on. Correct me if I'm wrong with that one. But it has not been 12 days after Christmas yet. I believe those in the Hispanic and Latino countries to our south will be celebrating Christmas until, I believe, January 5th is the day that... is it Unboxing Day or Boxing Day, or there some day that they celebrate where the wise men come and drop gifts in the shoes. That's actually bigger than Christmas Day itself, but it's all part of the same holiday. And so I just wanted to get you that in observance of those holidays as well.
Actually, I think the Advent season wraps up January 6th this year, if I'm right. I think that's when Epiphany starts.
It might be the 6th. You might be right. Epiphany. What a word. I had a friend named Piff, and I used to call her Piff the Magic Dragon. Great song from the 70s. But I used to make fun of her as I compared her to marijuana. That was a lot of fun.
Good story.
You, my dear friend, would not have an address. Yeah, you would, because you don't live on Redbud. The road you take to your house would not have a name if it weren't for my dear friend Piff and her family.
That's actually kind of false because I live in a neighborhood, so my neighborhood street has nothing to do with.
Right, which is why I corrected myself, but how do you get to your neighborhood?
Another road.
And what's that road's name?
Redbud Trail.
Redbud, woo! Redbud, woo!
Okay, and you just lost all of our listeners because that was annoying.
Yeah, but you saw that coming. You tried to steal the mic from me, but you knew I was going to say that as soon as you said Redbud, right?
So tell me, we have started a YouTube channel before. We have made one video for that. Mm-hmm. And now you think we need to start a podcast. So what makes you think we're going to actually do this? Or are we not? Is this just a one-time thing, or are we going to stick with it?
Well, here's the thing. I think the 7 viewers we had on that YouTube video, I think they're dying for more content, and they're dying to tell their friends how badly they should like and subscribe. I would tell you what to like and subscribe to if I could remember the name of our own YouTube channel. That I cannot. It's like Julie and Drew's Adventures or something like that. I don't recall.
I think we should mix both our podcast and a YouTube channel and make it like, two in one type of deal. Mix it up. Do some you could post our podcasts on there, but also do your YouTube challenges or creative side of YouTube, because that's where I'm more like, this is kind of fun for me, but like I would rather be more creative on the YouTube side of things than a podcast side of things.
Well, here's the thing. It's all about the views, the clicks, the impressions. Until we get that contract with SiriusXM like Joe Rogan has. I'm looking for that multi-million-dollar a year deal just to sit on the radio and talk. I look, if Joe Rogan can do it and Dave Ramsey can do it and I don't know who else can do it. What's the guy's name? He's Howard Stern. If Howard Stern can do it, I feel like not only can I do it, not only can you do it, but we can do it.
Kristen Bell's husband, Dax Shepard, has the Armchair Expert podcast, which is actually a really good one. He talks with a lot of different celebrities and stuff, but they're always very interesting. So there's a good shout out to that podcast right there. But I think we need to decide if we want to be big and famous and get on SiriusXM. We need a goal. We need like a theme, something that makes us different from other podcasts. So what exactly is going to be our whole, what are we trying to sell here?
I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything. I'm trying to provide high quality content to the viewers that demand high quality content.
Right, but what kind of content? Like, is this going to be comedic? Is it going to be just information about world topics? Is it going to be political? Is it going to be pop culture? Is it going to be something else? Like, what is your vision here?
Well, I think that has to do with just our personalities together. You're not going to sit us down and have a conversation without being enlightened. We're just both phenomenally bright people, so of course that's just going to happen naturally. All jokes aside, clearly that shows my humor, and you're going to get that dry humor that you are just the dry humor that whets your appetite.
Wow, what a metaphor.
Thank you.
He is known for his metaphors. They're usually pretty extravagant.
Analogies. I don't do metaphors so much as analogies. In the same way that a dog swims through the water, I like to. I'm lost. I was reaching on that one, hoping an analogy would come to me, but you can't force an analogy. You have to let it come. Kind of like inviting that salesperson into your door. You can't. You can't force that interaction and that transaction, but the family has to be willing and accepting to let them in, let them sit at your living room chair, look at the art on the wall that has pictures of all the places your family has been, and sell you on the encyclopedia for the letter W. Hold up. There's no whispering off mic. I'm still trying to get the Bae in Drey and his Bae to do things. What is with the letter V?
On the episode of Friends where somebody tries to sell an encyclopedia to Joey, he buys the letter V. So I was referring to that.
See, nothing against the writers of the TV show Friends. Great people, I assume. Very artistic.
Mark Coffin.
But I'm not trying to be Friends. If I was trying to be Friends, I'd create a TV show, but this is a podcast, babe.
Okay. So I'm thinking that if people are still listening, we should probably let them get to know us a little bit in our first episode.
All right.
So I think maybe we should just explain a little bit about ourselves, our situations, what's happening, things like that. See if they're interested in our content, as you like to call it.
Well, that is what it's called. Quality content, debatable, but nonetheless it is content. And it is made for consumption. So why don't you start us off first?
Okay.
Ooh, didn't like being put on the spot there, did you?
I just was not. Alright, I figured you'd go first, but I guess I can go first. Dang, we've been doing this for 10 minutes already. And you're not bored yet?
No. Are you bored?
No. All right. As we discussed in the 30-second intro of this video, my name is Julia. I'm dating this bozo to my right currently. I am at the bright young age of 21 years old, and I am currently attending school to be a musician and to teach music. So it's kind of what I'm up to right now. My hobbies very much include playing tennis, obviously pretty much anything involving music. I really like watching movies and reading. And recently I've really been into painting canvases and different artistic things like that. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Drew, your turn.
I want the listeners back at home to know this is the first time I've had the chance to hold the microphone. Someone has been hogging my ability to talk, and so I will gladly take this opportunity to shine my brightness to the world. My name is Drew Michael, a.k.a. Drizzy Drey Mike, a.k.a. Drey Mike, a.k.a. Drey Mike 67. Follow me on social media. You talked about canvases. Babe, I think you should really try to sell those. She made this amazing a mama giraffe. I assume that's a mama, not a daddy, but mama giraffe and its little giraffe cub. I don't know what a child giraffe is called, but I'm going to call it a cub. She also made this amazing canvas painting of a Christmas scene and a stone house or brick house, and it was just awesome. So anyway, I am at the ripe age of 22 years. I have been a funeral director for the last 2.5 years, and making the transition to being a bank teller. A bit of a move across the ways. One of the things that Julia and I enjoy might not be the right word, but it is one of the dynamics of our relationship is our long distance. She is still a student in college, goes to a school about 2 hours away from our hometown, and I have moved to an in the opposite direction. So there's a little bit of distance between us, the months from September to May for sure, but it really together, and we're able to enjoy each other's company, and you are taking the mic with you. All right, she got hooked. She's trying to cuddle when we're trying to do a serious podcast here, clearly forgetting the time of night, and there goes the mic. See, I told you I only had a fleeting moment in glory.
All right, to transition, because I had a thought while you were talking about baby cub giraffes, as you wanted to call them. I think I should take this time to become a social media influencer, and therefore I should promote my social medias and become famous through that. So in case you're wondering, my account is private, but I think I can change that, I'm pretty sure. I'd have to figure out how, but I can do that. So, my Instagram name, since Drew got to share his, is julia.costin, Kostn 83. Why 83, you ask? Well, because people ask me that all the time. Why I chose 83. Because I used to make a joke all the time in high school that I felt like I was 83 years old. So, I don't really know why, it just stuck. Also, my Facebook is under the same name, Julia Costin, so let's try to get 1 million followers. That's all.
So I had a crazy story today. I took Julia with me, and we had some errands to run. Felt like real adults. It was very much we stopped at 4 different stores, I think, where I dropped her off and had to do different loops in the parking lot. And the time I spent with my father really taught me the prime spots in the parking lot to sit and wait for the white sweater to come out. But then she put on a red jacket for the last one, and that threw me off. I was expecting the white sweater to walk out. Instead, a red coat walked out. I thought it was the British were coming. Anyway, but I had to go get drug screened, and crazy thing, I thought I just peed in a cup and left it there. But they like lock you in this room, lock all your possessions, put you on a timer to make sure you're not doing anything sketchy. They don't let you wash your hands after you pee. They don't let you get any paper towels. They don't let you get any toilet paper. I don't know how the ladies do it. They don't let you. The toilet water is blue. It just all crazy. And I was like, ma'am, I'm just trying to pee in a cup. I have to pee really bad. Please just let me pee. My food got cold out in the car because I had to wait an hour and a half. It was an adventure though. There's some very interesting people in there. That's for sure. Julia is now showing me an ad for Tampax. Interesting. Do we have any stories that revolve around those? No.
Well, to be honest with you, about 2 minutes before we started this podcast, I had just been telling you a story about different brands and kinds of tampons. I was explaining the differences. And you know how people say there's a conspiracy theory that, all our phones can hear us and then therefore can put ads on your social medias and Google, different things like that, been talking about. So that was just kind of one of those moments. I was on Instagram and bam, there's a ad there for tampons after I was just talking about them. It's just a little bit interesting. All right, what are your thoughts on conspiracy theories?
Great that you brought that up. I'll tell the listeners this story. I was on the phone with Julia. Ironically, I was driving home from her house, even though she was not there. She was down at school, and she was telling me the story that she works as a cashier at the bookstore and was checking this gentleman out, and she saw this gentleman's last name and asked him, "Hey, are you related to the Smiths from our hometown?" And he says, yeah, I am. He's from about an hour away. He splits the difference between the school and our hometown, but he's related to the Smiths here in our hometown. And Julie goes, oh, really? And what you should know is I'm related to the Smiths. My aunt and uncles are Smiths, and so she rattles off their names. And through marriage, I'm related to 2 of the 3 Smiths in that specific family dynamic. And so she rattled off both of those couples, and those are his 2 aunts and uncles, not like great aunts and uncles, not like dad's cousins. Those are his aunts and uncles. Those are his dad's brothers. Absolutely crazy. I got home from that phone, or from that drive where that phone call took place, open up Facebook, and you know how Facebook suggests friends for you. He was the first person recommended, with a total of 1 mutual friend, and he had never popped up on my Facebook before, but after talking about this Mr. Smith, he popped up there on the social media page. It was insane, and that made me believe that Facebook is listening on my phone.
Okay, I was going to keep going on this trail, but I've decided I want to switch to some other pop culture references besides social media. So we are going to talk about the fact that you missed a great movie last night when we watched Wonder Woman 1984. Because I wondered, I know you had mentioned you hadn't seen the first one that came out a few years back. So I wondered if seeing the second one was going to affect that at all, or if it was how built on top of each other they were. As it turns out, I won't spoil anything, but as it turns out, they're not really like they kind of go hand in hand, and there's a little bit of a backstory with one of the characters that you wouldn't understand quite as much unless you watch the first one first. But it's not necessary to watch that one first. That this one is still standalone enough that it was a very good movie. It was 2.5 hours long. But it was very good, and it actually had, my mom and I were discussing this last night, it had Kristen Wiig in it, who is a very, very comedic actress. Like, she's SNL, she's in a lot of movies, Bridesmaids, she's just done a lot of comedy in her career. That's kind of what she's known for. But in this movie, she it's a very different type of role. It's very serious. It's not, no part of this movie is very comedic. It's, action packed, and there's a lot that happens in this movie. So it's kind of weird to see her in a little bit of a different role besides just laughing and comedic and stuff like that. But very good movie. I highly recommend you should watch it, because now we have HBO Max for a month. So
then we definitely need to watch some stuff on HBO Max for sure. I was always wondering when DC would catch up and realize that they can't start making Marvel movies. Like, if you watch Iron Man 1, that's a bad one, because Iron Man in and of himself is a different breed of a character. But if you watch a lot of those early Marvel movies, they're in no way, shape, or form like the latter Marvel movies. This is currently being recorded in 2021. To give you all a reference, Infinity War happened, Endgame happened. We've seen Spider-Man 2 come out since then, but that's been about it. I'm sorry, we saw, what else came out? Captain Marvel 2? Anyway, to give you guys, but Marvel has become very comedic. Even if you think of Thor Ragnarok, he's in the middle of battles and he's just cracking jokes, and it's all very lighthearted and jokey, and that's what a lot of Marvel has become. They fit in a lot of seriousness, but they make a lot of jokes. And I think back to when DC was making very high quality movies. The Dark Knight, or Dark Knight Rises, and Batman Forever. Those were not very comedic. They had a few moments, mostly the Joker, because of course he's got to make jokes. But it was very, they knew what they were doing and they did it well. And Marvel had to build that universe, build that fan base, and then be able to create some jokes. They didn't just start out making all the jokes. If they had started out making movies like they're making now, they would have been complete busts. But instead they have the following, they have the fan base. That's what people want now, that they understand these characters and are bought in already. You have to have that serious, that drama first. And what I've seen out of DC is just they're trying to rush to turn into Marvel, and it's not worked out for them so far.
yeah, I think there's a really interesting competition between the two companies, because I think Marvel has outdone themselves, especially now that they're part of Disney, which that's a whole nother conversation about my thoughts on Disney. But I think it's interesting to hear people debate and compare the two different companies and the types of movies, because I mean, a lot of what their goal is similar. They're all superheroes. They're trying to make good quality movies, and they're trying to make money, let's be honest. But I think it's so interesting to compare the way their movies have been done. Although I think the Wonder Woman movies are the first ones that I have had, like, a lot of respect for in the quality of the movie that matched what I'd experienced in Marvel. I don't know if I can't think of other movies like that I would argue had the same quality content as Marvel until Wonder Woman. But I'm much more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan in general. But I really like the Wonder Woman movies. I think they're good movies, and I hope they keep making good movies. Any thoughts?
Speaking of movies, we're actually about to watch one of Julia's all-time favorites, Princess Diaries, Princess Brides, Diary Brides, Princess... okay, I've offended someone. Uh-oh. Watch out, audience. Be ready. Just caution you ahead of time.
I mean, just put the shovel down, my friend. It is Princess Diaries. Princess Bride is also a fabulous movie, classic, but no, very different from Princess Diaries. So we'll be watching Princess Diaries today, also a Disney movie. This was probably my favorite childhood movie. That and Cheaper by the Dozen. Two movies I watched a lot of growing up.
'Cause I'm in too deep and I'm trying to keep up above my head instead of going under.
Yes, thank you to Drew for singing the early 2000s.
Hey, YouTube, please don't copyright that one. We still want to get paid for this video.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, Princess Diaries, fabulous movie. Anne Hathaway, a classic actress who is fabulous, and the one and only Julie Andrews, who is just unbeatable. She is incredible and obviously a fabulous actress and singer, and so we are going to be watching that. I don't believe Drew has ever seen it, especially based on the way he just tried to remember the title. But I think he will be impressed. I mean, it's a girl movie usually. It's a little more chick flicky, not to stereotype or anything. But I think there will be some moments in there that he can at least appreciate. We were discussing earlier today about our thoughts on early 2000s music, which I feel like there is a lot of in this movie and some pretty good ones too. But I should warn you now before we watch it that because it was my favorite movie, I can quote it and sing every song and every line, and just prepare yourself for that, my friend.
Alright, audience, looks like I need to go. It's been fun. It's been a blast. Hope you enjoyed as well. Hopefully we'll be making some more of these, and we might find our direction and purpose, and this might be a fun little thing we're able to do. Like I said, long distance can be hard, but finding quality things to do to spend our time together is always a lot of fun. So, anything you want to say before I sign off?
I think next time we should make an outline of topics and be a little more prepared in our transitions.
That's a good point, but I think we went pretty flawlessly this time. Like, for the fact that 30 minutes ago we were not expecting to be making a podcast, and here we are. We also might need better equipment than a toy microphone plugged into my phone just for voice recordings. I don't know how much background noise you guys have heard or how much swallowing of saliva like this. I don't know if you could hear that very well, but so anyway, thank you for listening to the Drey Bae podcast. Check us out on nothing right now, but probably on YouTube. Hopefully in the future I can say all the fun stuff like iTunes and Spotify. But anyway, peace out.